I'm Simon Ditchburn. I'm the Managing Director of the Tudor Group of Companies, and you're about to watch us pour 1,000 square metres of concrete at the Cube condominium, and all of it above my head. Concrete is an amazing building material. If you can think of and create a mould, pour liquid concrete into that mould, within a day you've built that structure. But it's by no means a modern material. A lot of people make that mistake of thinking so. It's actually claimed to be invented by the Romans some 2,000 years ago. And the real difference between the old ancient style of concrete and today's concrete is really just the chemical additives that we put inside. Now, bearing that in mind, what we have to do to create a floor within an apartment block or a condominium is we have to create a giant mould which will be the floor of that condo. And that's really where we start down here with all the scaffolding. The scaffolding has two jobs to do. First of all, it's got to create the mould, and it's got to make the mould some 3 meters above my head here. The second job for the scaffolding is it has to hold the weight. It's got to hold the weight of 20 centimeters thick and 1,000 square meters. You can do the calculation for yourself how many tons that is. But basically, we start off with the entire floor being scaffolded right the way through. Now, the scaffold has leveling legs so that we can balance everything. It also has leveling U-jacks on the top side, and we lay out a ribbing section that's 4-inch and 2-inch steel, just like the ribs in your own body. Then on the top of that, we put waterproof plywood. Believe it or not, I'm now standing on the top of that scaffold that you've just seen. Now, the waterproof plywood is laid directly onto the ribbing, which is on the top of the scaffolding, and you can see we create the entire floor, 1,000 square meters, and this has got to be copied on every floor right the way up to the roof. So the plywood is the mould. Everything that you're looking at here is the mould. And on the edging, we have an upstand of about 20 centimeters, which will be the thickness of the floor, also stopping the concrete from actually slurrying over the edge. Now, once we've created that mould, we can deal with this floor just as though I was on the ground. We can put in the reinforcing steel, we can put in the connections around the columns, everything exactly as you would do normally if I was working on the ground. This part of the mould is absolutely vital. All of the columns that we poured earlier, we have to make sure that the floor is sitting directly on the top of those columns. Also, we have double steel at the base of the columns. You see, if this column isn't directly underneath the full thickness of the floor, if it's penetrating just the slightest part inside, what can happen in the future is the floor just collapses right the way through the column. Now, this is the clever part. This is the part that also gives the name to this type of flooring, post-tension. Now, you'll see that we have casings that run the full length and width of the condominium, and they always follow the line of the columns. Now, inside these casings are cables. They will follow the complete line of the columns, and after 4 to 5 days, so the concrete is hard enough to be able to walk on, they will actually come and tighten these cables within this casing, and it actually pulls all of the tension and all of the weight right the way across the line of columns, making sure, absolutely ensuring, that the full weight is on the column, and that's the only supporting item. That means that your walls, anything that you build at a later date, you can build them, you can take them out, they don't support any weight whatsoever. Everything 100% is all sitting on top of these columns. In all of the bathroom sections, the water pipes and also electric pipes have physically got to go through the floor itself. So what we do is we make a sleeve from a much larger PVC pipe, and we can slide inside the water pipe that's got to make the connections at a later date. And on the outside, because the bathroom will be a step lower than the main floor, we make a frame all the way around the outside of the bathroom. And then when we're pouring this concrete, we can make the lower level and the higher level all at the same time. Now, with everything in place, the mould is set and finished, the reinforcing steel, the post tension and the water pipes that come up through the floor, we can now actually go ahead and pour the concrete. Now, we've got about 30 men on site today, and we're trying to complete this by about 5 o'clock this evening. So that's 1,000 square metres of concrete in a day. But nevertheless, even at this stage, I'm really very nervous. You're permanently thinking to yourself, is the scaffolding strong enough? Have we forgotten anything? But it's too late to worry about it now. We've got to push on. This is the last 150 square metres of concrete going into place there behind me, and it's very much the last of the day. We're pretty much on time, aiming for about 5 o'clock to finish, so it's really been a very good day of concrete pour. Pleased to say no mishaps, no accidents, although Nam behind the camera says don't speak too soon, so I know exactly what she means. Anyway, the scaffold will stay in place for another 28 days. We won't remove that scaffold at all. The concrete has got to completely support itself before anything gets moved away. So let's go up into the showroom, a new feature that I want to add on to these videos now, which is basically our sales promotions. So let's go upstairs. We have 3 main promotions at the moment. We have a 15-year payment plan, we have a 10% rental guarantee return that's fixed for 5 years, and we have a cash-only investment possibility, which is just your cash into the project. So let me break that down a little bit. As you know, the banks are just not giving people mortgages at the moment, and it's not helping the buyers, it's not helping the market, and it's not helping the developers trying to make those sales. So we have come up with a replacement. We've come up with a 15-year payment plan, and we're beating the banks on the rates. It's a good promotion, it's a good deal, so come and discuss that one with us. Another promotion, of course, is people are starting to realise that money and their savings in the bank is only giving them 1 or 2% return. It just doesn't cut it anymore. So more and more people are buying property, and they're renting those properties to get the rental return back. Well, we're offering a 5-year plan where we will rent it for you. The management is totally with us, and we'll give you 10% fixed for 5 years. Another very good promotion, it's worth discussing it. The third one, of course, is for small investors. They don't have enough money to actually go and buy these properties, but they would like to invest their money somewhere. So we're doing a small investor option, where you can invest as little as 500,000. We'll still give you 10% return on that. We'll fix it for 2 years. You just put in your cash, you're not actually buying any of the units, and we'll invest and we give you the return based on purely the cash. So 3 very, very good promotions. I think they're some of the best in town at the moment, and I think they're really worth coming in and discussing everything with us. We're on floor 7 at Tudor Court Condominium. It's Soi 2, Pratumnak Hill, and we're open every day from 9 until 5 in the evening. So just remains for me to say goodbye. We'll see you next time on the building site. So goodbye for now.